What's up, internet? This is Soul Control. You can Twitch me at Soul Control 1. You can TikTok me at Soul Control 1. And shout out to Gaming Kaiju, to my man D Jackson, my homeboy Cronus. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the quitters and pretty much bad plays. So it's gonna be two topics in one. And one thing about DBD, one of the biggest issues of the game. There's a lot of issues in the game. A game so great that has a lot of issues, but that's most games, right? It's the fact that you got uh, casual players in the game that makes bad plays thinking that they're making good plays. It's so psychological, right? And so what oftentimes happens is that you'll have players who swift. So you may be in a two-man swift or a three-man swift. And the mentality for those who swift is the fact that um, I can't let my friend get hooked by any means necessary, even if it means um, giving up a hook, even though my friend hasn't been hooked. And then you have the other people that gets in the game and they play for themselves, as you can see here. The Fingming was on a Jin and she didn't get any pickups, right? Which means that I had to get the pickup, and somebody else who got off hook had to get the other pickup, when the Fangman could have got the pickup from the hook and all could have been well. We could have spread out. We could have got back on the Jin. But in her mind, it's, well, I did a lot already. I want to get a Jin out the way. And as you can see, it just didn't work out, right? And so now the mentality of the person that's on the hook right now is, let me get out the game, right? And so I could understand the feeling about, hey, listen, this team isn't working out. Things is blowing up. I don't even want to play this match no more. As a fact, I don't even want to play the game the rest of the day. Sometimes in order to get good, yeah, you do need to take breaks, but you do need to kind of like persevere. And so as you can see, with me having like over 4,000 hours all together in this game, there's certain plays I know that's supposed to happen that I'll do myself. Like as you can see here, I am trying to get the artist's attention so that they could get the pickup, but they still didn't get the pickup, right? And this is a possible 2 or 3-man swift. And so that's what I mean by, when you have a lot of casuals in this game, they may have 1 to 2,000 hours in this game, but they don't actually know how to play the game, thus making a transition to bad plays. And so as you can see right here, a survivor is out. And if you look at this Jin on progression, this Jin was almost done. So if they're monitoring the Jin progress, and if they're looking at the hooks, they wouldn't make the plays that they're making. And this artist is pretty much a basic artist. This is a beatable artist that we're up against. And so now it won't happen because we're all about to get cleaned out. If you see this play right here, Dania comes, and I want you all to monitor what it is that she's going to do. Instead of trying to heal me, or rather just get away from the killer, what she does is that she just sticks around, and and see in that play right there, I tried to dead hard so I can get some endurance. And then look what she does. And that's what gets people angry with this game. And now she's tap dancing on me. I'm like, okay. She wins me. She's happy, a basic artist. And this is what frustrates people about the game. And this is what actually drives people away from the game. I mean, if you look at that 5, 6, no prestige, just prestige 2 artists. Now, this is something I want to get into about smurfing, because that's not a prestige 2 artist. And so it's frustrating when you play with people like this, and then the question is going to become, well, what does the devs do about this? And this goes into the whole thing about making a real MMR. And that's something else that I'm gonna make another video on. But I just want to go back to the mentality of solos when you play with a Swift, and how they do way too much sacrificing in this game. So as you can see here, you know, boom, 2 gens got done. The Nia, another Nia, who's doing pretty good in this chase, you know, bought us some time. And so sometimes the mentality of a survivor is, okay, I'm cooking in the chase, I'm doing so well, I'm doing very good in the chase, I'm with my friends, I'm gonna keep the killer on me so I can get a 5-gen chase. When it comes to 5-gen chase, it's a roll of the dice. People don't, even like your top players, your top 4%, 10% players don't 5-gen chase all the time. It doesn't happen. No matter what these content creators does. You can't expect to get into the game and then say I'm a 5-gen chase all the time. No, it's a roll up of dice. Everything has to go your way, and then it even comes down to the killer, right? That's why a lot of people don't play Bubba too much, because Bubba can get destroyed. Licensed character, good character, but he could get destroyed. And so if you can see here, the Steve goes down. Now I want you to watch what this Nia does, right? I get into the locker just so I can not get caught, just in case he has barbecue, and then she go down. So why would you go down for your friend that hasn't even been hooked yet? So you just gave the killer 2 free hooks, right? Which means I have to go over there and try to save both. And that's a big waste of time on Survivor. Why? Because we could have got gens done. And so these are bad plays. And you have this thing where people are like, oh, well, MMR, it makes Survivor much more stronger. It makes Survivor like Swift. No, it doesn't. You know, it depends on who you play with. And I think that's a point that tends to get forgotten, that it depends on who you play. The killer can be very bad, and the survivors can be very good. The killer can be very good, and the survivors can be very bad. And so here, this play here, this is why I'm glad I had Deliverance. Right, and I had this in my last video, why you have to run Deliverance, Decisive, and Dead Hard. You gotta run this along with Windows. Okay, so now what this killer's trying to do is proxy camp my hook. Now the smart thing to do, which they doing, is get on the gen, right? Because if they pause the screen and saw my perks, they'll know, well, he has Deliverance. Otherwise, this Steve wouldn't have came. Correct? But they don't check. So if they're not checking to see that, oh, he has Deliverance, he can get off the hook himself, I don't need to come by, then, you know, hop on the gen, do the gen, and let me deal with the killer, because I have the Decisive Strike, and then I have Dead Hard, which, you know, in a lot of cases can waste another minute to maybe 30 seconds of the killer's time while they work a gen. That's a good play. But the bad play is not checking your information, coming for the hook, and then you're getting hooked again. And as you can see here, even though this is going to be a 3-man out, I want everybody to look at what's going on here. And so now a bad play is, okay, now the Nia is going to work a gen. She's getting hooked. So when she gets hooked, she stays on the gen because she wants to knock that gen out, which I understand. She's only been hooked once. And then watch what happens. She gets caught. So if you know and now she's down. So now if you know that he's in your area, you hear the terror radius, why would you stay on that gen? And so, this is going to go into why MMR needs to be better. But what I wanted people to see is that when you have quitters and people that makes bad plays, not really knowing the game, it also contributes to a reason why solo queues can be miserable. All right, thanks for checking me out. Love you guys. Peace.